to all our friends out there in the media. I also know this is being streamed live. It's game week. I can tell you the Cowboys are really excited about playing Montana State. Montana State's an excellent football program. They've got an excellent head football coach, and we're looking forward to our competition at War Memorial Stadium. We're going to have full stands, and so it's an exciting time. Where our football team is at currently, we're very healthy. We've had an aggressive fall camp. We've had more contact as far as scrimmages than what I can remember for quite some time, but we've been able to go through it unscathed. We're healthy. We've got a lot of depth and great competition within our football team. But I think a lot of teams have a lot of depth. The NCAA granted an extra year for all the programs in Division I, and so we're probably not unique from that standpoint. However, I think we're probably deeper than and more experienced than maybe most people. So if you looked at the strengths and weaknesses, one of the strengths that I would say we have is our offensive line. An awful lot of players who have played a lot of football who are on the back end of their careers. We, again, I've got some fifth-year guys and older men, and they played together a lot. Sean Chambers has had an excellent fall camp, along with Levi Williams. And we think we've got some guys on the outside that can stretch the field, certainly some tight ends and full stable of running backs. And it's probably been the first time I can remember. I think our fullback position is really deep there. Over on the defensive side of the football, all our front guys have played a lot of football there, and Chad Muma, of course, is anchoring down that defense, and he's an experienced player. Easton Gibbs is a guy who really came on at the end of last season, had a good spring ball, and then has had an excellent fall camp as well. We've got two returning corners who played a lot of football, and we've got a lot of depth at the safety position, and we're going to utilize that as well. You know, in the kicking game, John Hoyland had an excellent year last year. It was somewhat unique, and he emerged, and I think he's a preseason Lou Groza guy, and so, you know, he certainly has got a lot of experience, and so we'll utilize him as well. In reference to Montana State, as I mentioned before, they were a team that did not play this last year, and that's probably helped them with the new coaching staff. But, you know, they have a quarterback, Matt McKay, who, you know, transferred from North Carolina State. We've done quite a bit of research on him. I know that he's really an athletic guy. He's got a strong arm. And then also Troy Anderson is a preseason All-American middle linebacker, was initially you know, came to Montana State as a quarterback and now as a middle linebacker, possesses great ability. And I applaud a guy like that for sticking with his school, and I'm sure he had all kinds of other opportunities. But they've got good players, and they have great tradition. It's been quite a while since the Cowboys have played the Bobcats. You get up in the northern part of our state, I know that there's a lot of crossovers. So we're certainly excited about this football game. We're excited that we're going to have fans in the stand. I'm sorry we're not able to do this in person, but you know, it's a lot safer outside. So at this time, I'll open it up to any questions anybody may have. I think, Cody, you're the first guy up.
Craig, welcome to the 2021 season. First of all, what did Sean Chambers show or prove to you this offseason that made him your guy?
You know what? I think he really worked on his fundamentals during the course of this last year. And he cleaned up some things fundamentally. You know, what a lot of times we don't realize is he didn't have an opportunity to practice a whole lot. You know, he missed a whole year there, missed a spring, and then last year played 3 plays, had an abbreviated fall camp. And so coming back and going through spring practice, and then over the course of the summer, I thought both he and Levi made great strides. And so they're just a year older and understanding how to play quarterback more. And we'll leverage that. Both those guys, we feel really comfortable. You know, I don't think we'll alternate guys. You may see Levi in the game some, but right now we've declared Sean as our starter, and I think he's had a good fall camp. But I do not want to minimize Levi's progression. He's really improved as well. I think, Tracy, you had a question.
Couple. The first one is, Any any special thoughts about facing Vegan from the opposite sideline? You're used to talking to him back and forth during the game.
Well, I don't think we'll be doing a whole lot of talking. They haven't got the headset set up like that, but there's lots of storylines about this. A lot of their coaches, we know, they know us. Their defensive coordinator had played for me for many years ago. Freddie Banks done a great job, and that there's just tons of storylines. But I can tell you this: both Brent and I enjoy a great relationship that goes back many years. But when the game gets going here, it's going to be about the players, and I'm sure Brent would echo the same thing. That we're going to be. It's professional. He's leading a great program. We feel like we've got an entrenched program, and so some of the storylines, some of the projections on how they may look at defending something, or what we may look at doing offensively, and I'm sure they're doing the same exact thing. Brent and Tim Polasek worked together for many years. And so not a lot of bobbing and weaving, but certainly maybe some gamemanship from that standpoint. Another question, Tracy?
Yeah, I was just wondering, have you ever had a player going into a seventh year of football play for you? And how
No,
much of a surprise is it to see a guy like that say, "Hey, I want to stay and play another year"?
I think it's an indication. Maybe I mentioned this earlier that ESPN rated us as the #1 program in the country as far as stability. Out of 130, I think Clemson was number 2, and there was some formula that they had. Trey's an example of that. I think he's real close to getting his master's degree. The only thing I can say is many years ago I coached a safety who played in the minor leagues baseball for many years, and he came out and played. But it's been great having Trey out there. His maturity, his ability, and all those things have added a great deal of stability and focus to our football team.
I guess the other thing I look at him with is, he knows who the starting running back is, right? He spent 2 years watching that guy.
Right.
So he understands his role pretty well, I would assume.
I don't want to say it's unique, but anymore, what we've really tried to emphasize, the team, the team, the team. And that many times has gone by the wayside. And that's an easy thing to say and tough to do. When you're the starter, everything, it's all great, but all of a sudden you're not the starter. How do you respond? And whether you're focused on contributing to the team and thinking other people more important than yourself, that kind of goes counterculture with what's going on. But that's what we need to leverage at the University of Wyoming. And I think nobody embodies that better than Trey.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, I don't have some names up here. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach, Josh Criswell.
Hey, thanks,
just
Josh.
the backup linebackers, Shea and Connor. I saw they were listed on the depth chart. What are your thoughts on how they've progressed throughout fall?
They played well. We run a complicated defense, and it's a pro-style defense. And so sometimes it takes a while to pick up some of the nuances within our defense, but they've done a good job. How much they play will be kind of contingent upon how the game goes along. We feel like we've got 2 really excellent veteran players, so I don't think you'll see splitting reps a lot, but we're well pleased with their progress.
And new offense this year with Tim Polasek. What are your thoughts just on how the guys have kind of grasped the new system and how they've executed down the stretch of camp?
Well, every time you have a chance, you have change, you have an opportunity to grow. And so it's been different. I think our guys have really, embraced Coach Polasek, losing a guy like Coach Vegan and happy to have him become a head coach, but an opportunity for Tim to maybe put his, handprints on or fingerprints on this offense is really important. There are some differences, but it's not going to look drastically different, from the vantage point from the stands. But our players have really, I think, bought into what we're doing offensively, and it's going to be important that we execute and play really fast Saturday. Cody?
Greg, we talked about this a lot during the offseason, but I see Titus Wins at the top of the depth chart at kickoff. What do you like about him in that area? And what do you think about Cam Stone also backing him up?
Well, we've done more kickoff work than I can ever remember, and sometimes you get a little bit concerned about that. But Titus showed some great ability to find a crease, secure the football. He's got explosion. Cam Stone also did a great job breaking some tackles. And so that was part of our thought process there, to have two guys back who have the ability to go the distance, and then also make sure they have great ball security.
Also,
Cody?
Troy Anderson, you touched on him a little bit. What a career that guy's had, being, an all-conference quarterback, all-conference running back, all-conference linebacker. Are you happy to just see him in one position this weekend?
Well, I think it's smart on Coach Vegan's part. Anytime you have somebody that's that athletic, he does so many things for them, and we'll have our hands full. We'll need to make sure that we have him accounted for on the offensive side of the football. We always have to have somebody blocking him. Ryan, I think you're up there. I can't see your picture, but your name popped up. Ryan?
Hey, Craig, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I don't see you, but I hear. Oh, now there you are.
There we are. Welcome back to Zoom.
I know it. This is where we're at. Hopefully, we're going to make some progress. But appreciate you guys being on today.
Sorry if I missed it, but can you just touch on Sean Chambers and just his resiliency and winning the job again, and what you're kind of expecting from him this year?
Both the quarterbacks made great progress during the course of spring, and then they really made some significant progress during the summer, which was on their own, which shows the buy-in that they have. Sean, I think, is learning how to play quarterback more. There's a lot of things that we do in our system that's a pro-style system that through the years, as a program or as a quarterback matures, we're able to put more on their plate. His accuracy has improved significantly. We chart that all the time. His leadership, but I do not want to minimize Levi. I thought Levi really did some great things and grew as well. So we're comfortable with where we're at. It'll be fun to see Sean get out there. You can try to replicate everything you want in scrimmages and practice until the lights come on. He's always had the ability to make plays with his legs. But what we're finding is for him to be able to be in a pocket and see the field a little bit more, go through his progression. He still has the ability to run and make plays on the move, but he's been much more accomplished as far as being what I would consider a quarterback in a pro-style system. Okay.
Chris Sylvester has a question.
Okay, Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for your time today. I'll be calling the game on the Mountain West Network this weekend with Jared Petrino. The receiver position, I want to get your thoughts on maybe some guys that haven't had too much experience in terms of catches at this level. But I see a lot of guys on the depth chart, a lot of redshirt freshmen, a lot of those kids you recruited out of Texas. Obviously, Eberhardt has a lot of experience, had 12 catches last year. But who are some guys to look out for in the passing game? And you mentioned that fullback position being pretty deep. How do you plan to use those guys?
Well, you know what? We're going to have a lot of different formations, and some of us is going to come up to how the game begins to unfold. We certainly feel like we have more weapons on the outside than what we've had. I think a lot of people are that way since you have a lot of these guys back. But the ball will be placed a lot of different ways. Isaiah Nair is a guy that has tremendous speed and can stretch the field. Josh Cobb's another guy that's done some things well. Our tight ends, Trayton Welsh is a guy that can stretch the field vertically. You see Parker and Caleb both at the fullback position. So a lot of different players that are going to play. Some of it's going to come down to how we see some matchups once the game begins to unfold, because as I said, we're trying to project what they're going to do. They're trying to project what we're going to do. About somewhere in the middle of the first quarter, we'll have a pretty good idea what their game plan is, and they'll have a pretty good idea what we'll do it, and that'll have an impact on how we deploy these players. Other questions that are out there?
Ryan has a question.
Ryan, go ahead.
Craig, I know you guys are itching to play after last year, but, Montana State hasn't played since the 19 season, and they were in the semis, the last time they played. You have a lot of guys coming back. What are you kind of expecting? I know, obviously, Vegan's a new coach there, but they have a lot of guys back, a new quarterback. Just what's your scouting report on these guys?
Well, here's my sense is Montana State has always been a physical program through the years when I've had an opportunity to coach them, no matter who's been the head coach there. They have a great deal of pride in their program, being from Bozeman. There's kind of a hardy, tough mentality. Coach Vegan certainly is going to, I guess, embody that. I mean, he's always been a guy that's really believed in having a physical football team. They will play hard, and that's just not coach speak. The things that we've seen and we know about them, you don't get in the semis without being a deep football team. And so we're anticipating a very, very competitive game. And I know our guys are going to be, very competitive and be physical as well. So it's going to be kind of a matchup of two programs that have a long storied history. And we're certainly excited about playing the Bobcats. Cody?
Craig, you coached the place kickers, obviously. I think people might have been a little shocked to hear that was as close of a race as it was, close of a battle as it was this offseason. Can you talk a little bit about that and what put John over the top?
Well, it's hard to replicate game experience. Luke has done some good things. We chart a lot of things in practice. We've had live work. There's some real comfort in the fact that you have two guys that you feel really capable of doing it. But for John to have accomplished what he did last year, that's certainly, and I had a real candid conversation with Luke. I mean, Luke's done some good things. But when a guy has done that repetitively in a game situation, that's hard to replicate. And so there's been great competition that brings out the best in guys as they go out and they challenge one another each day in practice, and we chart everything. But we're really pleased that we have two capable kickers, and really pleased that John has excelled in games, and so that's what gave him the edge and the nod.
Craig, I know it's always exciting to play opening day, no matter who it is and all that, but does this carry some extra weight because of Brent and because of what you guys went through last year?
I would not say so much because of Brent, because Brent's, he's in charge of a football program. It's going to be about the players, but I can tell you that last year was a really, really challenging year. I applaud our players. We were prepared to play every week. We never got called off, but it was a tough year. And I think when you go through something like that, it makes you really appreciate some of the things that we're able to do now that we were not able to do. Certainly COVID is still out there, but we followed the protocols. Our guys are hungry. I think more than anything else, there's nothing better that I know than being in a sun-drenched stadium on a Saturday afternoon on opening game. We're expecting a lot of people here. It's going to be a stripe out game. That's all part of the pageantry. Last year we were piping in noise, and it was such a unique deal. I mean, heck, I couldn't even talk to the players during the pregame meal. And so there's all kinds of things that we were not able to do that we're going to be able to do this year. And, you look at your football team, Cody, and you go through it and you think you got a pretty good idea. But I've always found that until you're getting about the middle of the first quarter, the second quarter, you really don't know what kind of team you have. And once that starts to happen, then you go, okay, this is the type of team you have. So I'm going to be excited to see these players play. Tracy.
Did Hicks catch you by surprise with his decision to leave?
You know what? You missed the deal, Tracy. You probably know me as well as you do. I can appreciate the question, but I don't comment on guys who've left the program.
Okay, thank you.
Your request, don't ever go down that road again, Tracy. All right.
We'll try, but my memory's not real good anymore.
Okay. Ryan, I think you're up.
We've talked obviously a lot about Chambers and Levi trying to come back from last year and atone, but Ravante Holt's a guy who's been through a lot of tough injuries. The fact that he's in the starting lineup, is that a pretty good sign that he's getting close to what you hope he can be?
You know what, Ravante has gone through a tremendous amount of injuries, 2 ACL tears on one knee and another one on the other, and we've watched his repetition early in fall camp. Felt like he was a little bit behind, but as we were able to increase his repetition, he's running well. He's overcome a lot of adversity. It's great to have him in the trenches. When you look at our defense, Ryan, Our defense, we're a 4-3 defense. It sounds a little bit technical, but our 3 technique, if we're good at 3 technique, we got a shot to be pretty good. And we feel like Ravante is an excellent 3 technique and is going to be able to push the pocket. We applaud his resiliency and can-do attitude. He's done well in school. It's great to see him out there, and I'm going to be excited to see him play against Montana State. Ryan, another question?
With McKay coming from North Carolina State, do you know a lot about him? Did you have to watch, some Wolfpack stuff, or just how would you compare for them? They have, 2 capable quarterbacks like you do.
We certainly culled through all that tape. It's been a long time ago, how much he's played. I do know that he's got a strong delivery, he's smart, he's athletic. What they do schematically is going to be really challenging. And so, he's a big guy in stature. I believe he stands about 6'4". He can move around. He's got a strong arm, and he's a well-seasoned quarterback. So a lot for us to tackle on defense. I know Coach Sawvell and the defensive staff has gone through all the different elements of our game plan. I think it's really important for us to be able to play fast, not give up big plays, and we're certainly going to be challenged by him. Okay, guys, is that it? Any other questions from anybody? Well, hopefully pretty soon we can come back in person, but I think this is the best approach. Hopefully you guys are going to be able to get your information. We look forward to having you cover the game this Saturday at 2 o'clock. Go Pokes.
Thanks, Greg.
You bet.
All right, guys, we got Garrett Krall going first, and then Sean Chambers will follow. Cody, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Hey, Garrett, how are you, man?
Good, how are you?
Good. Obviously, asked the same thing to Craig. Opening day is really special no matter what. But after all you went through last year and the fact that you're facing Brent Vegan, does this have a little more excitement to it, especially because you're in your last year and you're a super senior?
Yeah. There's a lot of excitement. I know last year I wasn't able to strap up for Nevada the first game. So, whenever you get a opportunity to run out on the field for the first time, it's obviously really exciting. But, last year was last year, and honestly, I'm just moving on to this year. It's a new feeling in this team, a new sense of excitement, and also just like there's a lot of, a sense that guys are just really confident in what we're doing. And that's what I'm most excited for, is just to kind of just have 21 with a clean slate and start off strong. So,
does this feel different than any other fall camp you've been through and any other start of a season you've been through in Laramie?
Yeah, I think that you just look at the experience and then just kind of how fast guys were able to pick things up. And I think that when you look at, you go 2-3 deep in some positions, and, a lot of those guys have been through the playbook multiple times now, even with Coach Sawvell. So that's a pleasant thing to have that experience, to be able to kind of run hot even day one of fall camp. We were doing more than just our normal base defense on the first day, so that was good for a lot of guys. But having that experience is great. And I think going up against our offense, you could tell that there was a good sense of confidence behind, with what Coach Polisek's putting in here. And I think it was really fun to get up against those guys.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Garrett, obviously, Sean Chambers has been through a lot, and we could kind of tell after the last scrimmage you had, the major scrimmage on the Saturday, that Bull was pretty excited about what he saw. When did you kind of realize that Sean was back and ready to lead the team again?
Honestly, I mean, you can start seeing that in the winter because I texted him literally like during the Nevada game. I texted him like when it was happening because I was back home watching it. And when you saw him come back to Laramie, obviously there's a lot of stuff he was going through, and I've been through some injuries like that. So he and I have been able to talk a little bit about that this offseason. But you could tell in the winter, he wasn't back to 100%, but he was working hard every day to get back to 100%. And that's how he was getting through the spring. And once this fall camp came around, a couple times during meetings, whether it was just watching his confidence in the pocket or if he was getting out running like he does, you could just kind of tell Sean's back. And we would say that in our meeting room, Sean's back and he's looking maybe faster than he ever has been. So that's a testament to him, because after that many injuries just on your legs, I know that's where the bulk of mine have came from, and it's really hard to get back to that speed again. And how he's been able to do it and handle himself, that just kind of shows to the growth of a man that he's become over this last year.
Speaking of guys who are back, what does a healthy Ravonte Holt inside do for you guys on the outside?
I mean, he just makes everything a lot easier. So, it's a great thing having him back. And, it's kind of getting back to the old Tay. And that's been really encouraging, because he's battled as hard as anybody to get through what he has. And I really just give him a lot of props for sticking it out. I know some guys would call it quits and you couldn't have blamed him. But he, came back and really put in the time and effort, and now he's looking like old Tay again. And it's a lot of fun to, because I haven't played with him since 2018 or whenever it was. So it's been a lot of fun being back out there and just talking about stuff when we come off to the sideline. So he's been a big help, and I know the great thing is with Jordan Bertinola getting reps last year, you can rep both of those guys and not skip a beat. So it's been really encouraging.
You got any more questions, guys?
Yeah, I have one.
Go ahead, Josh.
So just I guess with a little bit of familiarity with Brent Vegan and everything, do you guys feel like you have a little bit of an advantage just going up against an offense this week that y'all have gone up and practiced against 100 times?
Yeah, I mean, you look at what they do and trying to dig through all the film. Because there's going to be a lot of different things. Because you have to take into account that not only he is the head coach, but they bring in assistant coaches from a lot of different teams, and then also bring new aspects to the offense. So you can't really get set in stone on just what they're going to do. I think that especially you look at their quarterback, a guy that can run and stuff. I know that they're going to probably try to get him involved, and they got a good running back and some guys up front that can move. So if you look around, it's a team that's definitely a good football team. They got length at receiver too. So I don't think you can just really just say we've played these guys, or I've played these guys the last 5 years in practice. I think we're going to see new stuff out there. And I think we have to be prepared for the whole picture of what could come at us. But the great thing is Coach Salwell and all those guys upstairs have got us ready and, simplified it as much as they can, but got us ready for all the situations. And whatever they throw at us, we have a veteran group, and it's nothing that we haven't seen before. So we're ready to get after it.
After, playing last year with, half empty stadiums and all that, how excited are you to hear that y'all are getting close to a sellout for this first game? Yeah, no, that is exciting. That's something that's I guess I'm most looking forward to is just I was thinking about it yesterday. It's college football, we technically got back and played last year, but it's really going to feel back come Saturday when we're in the war and there's about 30,000 people screaming, and it's going to just, feel like old times. And that's what I'm most looking forward to is just the fun in the atmosphere, the fans getting back out there and having fun. I know they're excited, but
I promise you that no one's more excited than us to be able to return back and play in front of them. So it's going to be a good time.
All right, you guys good? All right, thanks, Garrett.
Tracy had a question.
Tracy, go ahead.
Yeah, on a big picture standpoint, when you think back now to coming out of high school and thinking you were going to go straight to the military,
Yeah.
then kicking around and trying to find a college that you could go to, I mean, any particular feelings of what's happened in that period of time for you?
Obviously, obviously that was a big part of my life, and that was something, that meeting with my trying to get into the Army, before my senior year, and having some stuff worked out, thought it was going to be pretty cool, and was like, I'll give my mom some extra time to not panic and worry so much, and then next thing you know, my coaches are talking to me about playing college football, and I was like, well, sure, we might as well try it. And a lot went down, and now I ended up here. And, I'm thankful for it because, it was all set in stone that I could go do something like that. And then next thing you know, I had a decent senior year of football, and my head coach back home, Lucas Smith, was a big help in me getting out here. And I'm just thankful that the coaches here were checking their emails that day and were able to allow me to walk on here. So, but that's one thing I credit Coach Bull is he gave a kid from a small town a chance where a lot of kids don't get chances. And now we have several kids from my school that have gone to Division I programs, whether it's for football, baseball, or whatever. And that just hasn't happened in the past. And I think it's really a credit to these guys here just for giving somebody a chance. And I think that a lot of kids back home now believe that they have a chance to get out and do something too, which is really special. So I wouldn't trade it for the world, and I'm thankful to be here today. And I would change nothing about these last 5.5 years, and because they've been the greatest of my life. So,
Garrett, I have one last one for you. Devon Harris is a young guy in your room who, like Jordan Bernali, got some playing time last year. What have you seen from him and his growth? And are you excited about watching what he can do opposite side of you?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. Devon, he's grown up a lot since he first got here. Whether it's with his, his speed or strength or whatever, he's grown up a lot, but he's also matured a lot in the football aspect, just knowing the game. And I think that's been good, and like learning to constantly just push himself, because he's a real athletic guy. And sometimes when you're athletic like that, like you just can kind of think, well, everything will just happen to me because I'm fast or whatever. And I think he's really learned how to push himself and get more physical and all that. So I'm excited. And, also looking at like a guy like Jalen that was in the same boat as him, I think that he's made just outstanding steps this offseason. He's passed what I thought he was going to do. So that's been really good to see him and just see how he's grown, especially since last year when I was coaching those two guys, and they were sometimes running around like chickens with their head cut off out there. So now they're men, and they've figured things out.
All right, you guys good? All right, thanks, Garrett. All right, guys, I got Sean Chambers here. Ryan, why don't you start us off?
Sean, congratulations on winning the starting job. I know it was a good battle with Levi. What do you think your emotions will be on Saturday, making it all the way back?
Yeah, I think the emotions are gonna be running pretty high. It's gonna be really sweet just to go back out there in front of the fans and play again. It's gonna be really cool just to go suit up and throw the uniform on and go out there and play. So they're gonna be running pretty high on Saturday.
Coach Bull was really effusive in his praise of you after the final scrimmage on a couple Saturdays ago, or maybe one Saturday ago. He said that's the best you've looked throwing the ball. How excited are you to maybe show off that element of your game in the new offense?
Definitely excited. I think it's the thing that everybody deserves, especially our defense here. I think they want to stay on the field a little longer. So I'm really excited. I think we have a good game plan going into this week, and just really excited to go out there and show off the passing game, I guess.
Sean, what feels different this time around compared, you're the starter for the third straight year. Does anything feel different?
Yeah, I guess I just keep getting older, so that's what feels different a little bit. But no, I think just feel more of a complete quarterback, going out there. Coach Polsek has done a good job of, coaching all of us up and, helping us become better quarterbacks. So I guess that's the big thing that feels really, really different about this year. So.
Sean, Coach Polisek's talked a lot about is wanting to have explosive play. I think he says he wants to have, at least 5 plays of 25 yards or more a game. For you as a kind of a dual threat quarterback, do you think that really allows you to maximize your abilities?
Yeah, definitely. But I think, when he's talking about the explosive plays, I think he's talking about getting the ball in other guys' hands and letting those guys get some explosive plays. I know we have, really explosive athletes on our side of the football, so we got to get those guys the ball and let those guys do what they do best. So really, really excited, to use those guys or utilize those guys and, have those guys all year long.
Go ahead, Tracy.
I think you're muted.
I
You're
can't
muted,
get
Tracy.
Okay, has there been a big overhaul in your approach to how you're going to play the game this year after what you've been through the last few years?
Yeah, I think the big emphasis for me this year is staying on the field. I want to do everything in my power to stay on the field, whether that's run out of bounds, or just playing smarter. I think is what I got to do. Taking unnecessary hits is just not in the game plan nowadays. So I think just playing smarter and getting down when you can get down, get out of bounds when you can get out of bounds, and just trying to stay on the field and do it as much as possible. So that's how I'm going to try to go about this year.
Thank you, sir.
Sean, I think Brent Vegan and you probably shared a pretty special relationship. I think he was one of the ones very responsible for getting you to Laramie. What does it mean to play against him, and what do you think your emotions will be like facing him?
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty neat. Coach Vegan, he recruited me, gave me a chance coming out of high school. So forever grateful for that. But going out there, seeing him before the game is gonna be pretty unique. He's gonna have the Montana State colors on, whatever. But when game time starts, it's all about business. And after the game, I'm sure we'll share a moment or something. But during the 60 minutes of the game, it's all about business. So that's how I'm going to go about it.
Sean, what would you say has been the biggest area of growth for the offense from the start of fall camp to where y'all are now getting ready for Montana State?
I think our confidence level. I think we always knew that we had guys and we could be really, really special. But I think our confidence level with Coach Polisek coming in and just building those guys up and building everybody up, getting some energy in there. I think we know that what we got, what we're capable of. And I think that's been the biggest thing. So just gaining some confidence and just playing fast and playing smart and playing hard, that's been the biggest growth for us.
Craig has described the offensive line as the strength of the team. Is that kind of where your confidence level comes from, starting with those guys?
Yeah, definitely. I think those guys, they have the most depth on any position group on our team. And those guys, aren't afraid to put the team on their back on the fourth quarter, put a 12-play drive out there and ice the game out. So those guys, we're going to ride those guys. Those guys are really, really good, really smart. Leading the way with them is Keegan, and just really excited, to have those guys out there protecting us. So.
Isaiah kind of flashed last year. I know you were watching from the sideline, and Jalen Sargent, a lot of people have been talking about him this camp. What are you expecting from those young guys, and what's your chemistry like with them in the passing game?
Yeah, I think Isaiah's going to have a really, really big year. He's looked really, really good, explosive, fast, strong, goes up and catches the football. So I'm really excited about that. Isaiah's the type of guy, you don't have to put the ball around his chest. You can put it anywhere in his vicinity, and he's going to come down with it. That's just the type of catch radius he has. So really excited about that. We've got playmakers all in that room. Our tight ends are playmakers. Our running backs are playmakers. Just everybody on this offense. I just see, contributing and making plays this year, quite frankly. So I'm really, really excited for everybody.
All right, guys, got any more questions?
Hey, Sean, this is Chris Sylvester from the Mountain West Network. Thanks for your time this afternoon. If you could talk a little bit more about the receivers that you have this year, maybe some of the guys that we don't know a whole lot about due to, kind of what's happened the last couple of years. But how excited are you about some of your targets?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Like I said, Isaiah Nair is looking really good. Aiden Eberhardt's looking really good. Josh Cobb's looking really good. Unfortunately, we lost Gunnar Gentry for the early part of the season, hopefully. But those guys were looking really, really good this spring, and I'm really excited. I think we carried the momentum we had from spring ball into fall camp, and I think our connection and our chemistry is getting really, really good and dialed up. So I'm really excited. Those guys, like I said, have crazy catch radiuses, and they contest the ball, and they come down with the football, So I'm really, really excited for those guys to go out there and make plays.
Sean, looking at Montana State early on, they have a pretty unbelievable linebacker, Troy Anderson. What have you seen from him on film? And you got to be aware where that guy is, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean he's a good player. You know, I've been seeing all this stuff on social media about his accolades and stuff. It's pretty cool. But he's a really good player. You know, he's big, he's fast, he's strong, and he's going to be in there in the run game. So we're going to dial some stuff up, you know, to make sure we can block that guy and make sure we're good. So I'm really excited about going against him. He's a good player, like I said. So